This bit this video is about creating a business that is financially successful. Creating a business that is financially successful. And so one thing that made me want to talk about this concept is because I was going out and I had some money invested, and there was someone that I'm close with that needed to borrow or asked to borrow $5,000, right? Now, I have the type of relationship with this person where that is no problem at all. Here you go. You can borrow the $5,000. And I always have the mentality that you do not allow anyone to borrow any money that you can't part with, right? And so when I let someone borrow money, to me, it's like, all right, it's gone, right? Now, after you watch this video, don't ask me for $5,000, right? Unless we've been close for 15 years, right? Then that's a different type of relationship. But if you just seeing me online or just met me last year, don't come up to me asking for $5,000 because you're not gonna get it, right? All right, back to the story. And so this person asked to borrow $5,000. So I had some money in one of my investment accounts. It's just kind of a play around investment account. And so I have some money there. Currently, I had it in the S&P 500. And so what I did was I ended up taking the $5,000 out. And once I took the $5,000 out, I ended up letting the person borrow it. They borrowed it for a few months. After that, they got it back to me, right? So when I got the money back, I was about to place it back into the investment account, the S&P 500, or I was going to do another investment, but I ended up thinking about my returns. And this is getting to, why starting a business is so lucrative, right? How you can make so much more money starting a business. But what ended up happening for me is I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, what if I invested my money so good that I doubled my money every year? Which is definitely doable. Most traditionally, you can expect a 10% return on investment, 100% return on investment. It's just outstanding. But I believe that I got good skills and pick good and all of that, as do everyone else, right? Who can pick stocks or not pick them, right? Who knows? But I was thinking, okay, I can manage my money in a way where even if I got 100% return on investment every year for 5 years in a row, what that would do is it would turn 5,000 into 10,000. It would turn 10,000 into 20,000, and it would turn 20,000 into 40,000. So from 5 to 10, from 10 to 20, from 20 to 40. So I was thinking, if I get about $40,000 in five years, if I did that, that would be really good, and that would be considered outstanding in the stock market. Even if you picked a stock that was skyrocketing and just going off the chart, most times in a number of years, it will not more than like quadruple in value unless you pick something that was just really off the chain and really good. So I'm sitting there, I have this $5,000, and I'm trying to think about how I can invest it so that I can get the best return on my investment. And so I'm listening, I'm researching, and I'm studying. And in the back of my mind, I know that when someone creates a business, there is an unlimited amount of money that they can make. Unless you are creating a nonprofit organization. Therefore, you are creating an organization that is not for profit. And so you're not supposed to make a ton of money in person, even if the nonprofit is very successful and is making a ton of money. Then you personally can't just benefit from all of those profits because they have certain rules and regulations, set in place because there are 501c3 tax benefits to having a nonprofit. And so looking at that, most people that I know and I talk to when they want to start businesses, they want to start a nonprofit. And I say, no, right? If you want to serve people, go start a nonprofit. But don't get upset when you create a huge business and can't generate a lot of income from it, because that's not what a nonprofit is for. For example, I work for a church. That's my full-time job as a pastor. And that job is not for me to make $1 million or 500,000 or 250,000 or hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? That is a service oriented role and position to where no matter how good you do and how successful you are, I can be the best pastor in the world. There's just a certain amount of money you get, and you don't really go beyond it. In a service oriented job in a church can double and quadruple and have 10 times more people or revenue than it had before I came, but that still wouldn't be reflected in the salary, because that's not the type of position or role that I'm in. So in a similar way, a lot of people, especially a lot of minorities, a lot of people like me who come from low socioeconomic environments, we're quick to want to start a nonprofit, which is good if we want to serve and do not care about getting paid. For example, like I said, with the church, I don't care about compensation. This is something I would do for free. And so if you want to do that, good. But I also believe that it is vital for our community to have thriving, successful businesses that can be able to go and grow exponentially. So I encourage people to go, and when they're thinking about creating a business, that you actually think about and consider going and creating a business based off of, is this something that'll be profitable? A lot of times when people go to start a business, they start a business because they're good at something, or they think they have a good idea. And they think, because I'm good at this, I'm going to make a lot of money. Or because I have a good idea, it's going to make a lot of money, without understanding that going into business has a lot more factors than, do you have a good idea or are you good at something? So we're going to touch on a few of those factors in this live. But the number one thing I want you to think about is profitability. Is your business profitable? Is your business making money? And if your business is not profitable and it's not making money, then you may struggle financially to be able to make ends meet and do what you need to do, and the business may not survive over time. So the first thing you have to know is, you have to know, where is the funding coming from? Where is the resources coming from? Is it coming from the state? Is it coming from the government? Is it coming from companies? Is it coming from people? Where is that funding coming from? And one thing that I encourage people to focus on is, where's your primary funding coming from? Because some people think, oh, I could get some from the state and some from the federal, and I could raise money like this, and I could do this, and I could do that, which is true. You can get your resources from a lot of different places, but you have to find out, where is the primary source of your funding or your income coming from. And then you have to make sure that what you are offering, or the product that you have, you want to make sure you're offering something where people will pay you for what you're offering. Now, when a lot of people go into business, they go into business thinking about what they can get for themselves. But in order for your business to be successful, it'll be successful as it adds value to others. And so in your business, you have to think, I have to add a lot more value to the people that I'm serving, or to the people that I'm in a relationship with, and a partnership with, the people that I'm selling to, or the people that I'm working with. I have to provide a lot more value to them than the money that they give to me, because what people are doing is they're trading value for money. And so you have to make sure what you do is really valuable to people. But looking at business, like I said, a lot of people, they don't think about the funding. And oftentimes what people try to do is they try to come in and they say, well, I can do it for cheaper than others can do it. So you don't want to come into a business just trying to undercut people, because then others will go and they will undercut you. And so you want to make sure that you are not just trying to come in and undercut people. And then another preconceived notion is that people do not want to pay more for something, right? People do not want to pay more for something. I was reading Alex Hormozy's book, 100 million dollar offer, 100M offer, and it's how to make offers, right? And so, with reading that book, one thing that was fascinating to me is that it was like when people pay more, they value what it is you have more. For example, if I told you that, oh, there's a hamburger, it's the best hamburger you ever tasted, and it's only $2.99, you would look at me weird and think I was lying, right? But if I said, "Oh, best burger you ever had in your life," it's 24.99, but it's the best burger you ever had, then you'll be pulling out your money and trying to go pay $24 for a burger, because that is believable that one of the best burgers could be, $24. You expect it to be more expensive. So oftentimes when we go into a business, what we try to do is we will often try to make it cheap, or we will lower the price, which makes people have a perceived value that what we have is not that good. And so when you are going and making sure it is profitable, don't be afraid to charge people, and really by charging people a certain amount, they might value it even more, and you'll have even more resources to be able to make that business grow. So I don't know why that came to me, but I'm sure it will help somebody that is either live watching right now or someone that will watch this later. But when you're looking at a business, people should not start a business just because they're tired of their 9 to 5 or tired of working a 9 to 5. If that motivates you to start a business, great. But if you're looking to get out of work, you have to be careful, because most business owners work harder for themselves than they ever work for a boss, right? I say you'll stay up till 2 a.m. working for yourself. You'll wake up at 4 a.m. working for yourself. Whereas if you have a boss, you're like, I'm going to sleep and need to wait till later, right? When you have a boss, you get sick days, you get vacation days. Where you're working for yourself, if you don't have a team and it's going and flowing and you get sick, then you may just miss out on revenue or a deadline. And so you have to keep pushing through, and you're almost scared to take a vacation if your business is not set up in a sustainable way where you could step out without there being major financial repercussions for that. And so you don't just want to trade your 9 to 5 for a 24/7, to where you're working harder for your business than you even were working for someone else. That's sustainable if you're doing it for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. But 5, 10, 15, 20 years of you just working all day, every day, that's not necessarily sustainable. And it's not necessarily better than just going and working for someone else. Someone will argue with me about that point, but hey, I believe what I believe. And so when you're looking at it, running a business, like I said, it's about a lot more than just am I good at something, or do I have a good idea? You have to understand business finances, how to manage finances, how resources are going in, what are the cost of the things that you'll need. You have to understand marketing. You have to understand customer service. You have to understand how to lead a team if it's going to be more than just you, even if it's not going to be with you. You might contract with people and work with people that'll help to do your website design. That's what I'm thinking about right now. I need a website design. So I need to contract with someone and work with someone so I can make sure that I can get that up and running. But when you're looking at it, you want to make sure that you are pouring into yourself the necessary knowledge and skills that you need to be successful at business, because it's completely different. It amazes me how many people will not read a book on the business that they're going to start. They don't do a ton of research on the type of business that they're going to start, but they just go out and start it. The best thing you can do if you want to start a business in a particular field is to get a mentor, someone that's going to help you in that particular field, because they're going to help you to be able to avoid so many mistakes that you would have if you did not have access to them. You can avoid mistakes that they made. And what I tell people is you don't know what you don't know. Especially sometimes people start businesses in other industries than that they have been in for a while. It's always good to have a mentor in those places. So you get your you have to make sure that you do your market research. You have to make sure that you study the competition, that you know what others are doing. You have to make sure that you know what makes you unique, and why people will get the service from you rather than going somewhere else to get the service. You have to know who your potential customers are. This is a huge thing. I say that people who try to sell to everybody end up selling to nobody at all, because you feel like everybody's your target audience. Everybody will want what you have because what you have is the best. But that's not the truth, right? That's just the truth in your mind. It's better to get a particular audience that you want to serve, a particular people that when you say, I created this, they feel like you created this exactly for me, then you can get that loyal customer base, whether you're working with an organization or you're working with individual people. You want to make sure to have a clear business plan with a business proposal. You don't want to have a business idea. The difference between a business idea and a business plan is a business plan is it is structured, it is written out, it have clear cut goals, objectives, and it has timelines and deadlines. So you want to make sure that you have your business plan. You want to make sure you know where your funding is coming from. You want to be flexible because anything could happen. You want to mitigate risk by thinking about what are all the negative things and what are all the bad things that could happen. But really, when you look at it, I want people to start businesses as much as possible, but I want people to start businesses that are financially successful. When our community has businesses that are financially successful to where we're able to go and provide funding and give donations and help out because we're just given from our success, then that's really going to help people in our community. It's going to help different organizations and it's going to help everything that we do. So I want you to research, get a mentor, research your competition, find out where your funding is coming from. And I want you to create that good and that successful business. If you enjoyed this video and want to watch more videos like this, then watch the other videos which are on my channel, which are all about financial literacy. Thank you.